This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Vegas 91. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, most confident picks on the card, favorite underdog. We'll talk Degen props of the night, and then finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and make sure you share the video as well. Last card, UFC 300, I took an L on the lock. I decided to go Rakic thinking that I was super sophisticated and had this technical masterclass plan. And I decided to bet my beard on the line against you guys. And as you can see, it's growing back, but I was baby-faced for the past couple weeks. Well, I'll tell you guys straight up, no beard bet is on the line this week, but I am catching another dub, and I'm getting back on that smooth track for these locks. I'm excited for this one, so let's jump right into it, the lock of the week.
Ryan Superman Spann!
Ryan Spann over Bogdan Guskov. That's the lock. That's the way to go down. Are you kidding me? Guskov is going to beat him? You guys are getting high on the OV. I rep with the OV fighters. Those last two letters are important. But this is a striking-based fighter who is by far the opposite of safety first, taking on a dynamic striker with big punching power in Ryan Spann. He's going to get knocked out. I get it. The line is chalky. It's minus 190 down the money line for Ryan Spann. This is a chalkier locky. It's not a great value lock. It's not a plus money lock. It's a get my feet back running again lock so I can keep bringing W's every week. I think Ryan Spann's going to destroy Guskov. I don't think Guskov's that good. I picked Volkan Ozdemir against Guskov. I may have also picked Pauga, who's one of the worst fighters in UFC history, against Guskov, and I took a fat L there. But trust me, my reads on Guskov not being that good have always been there, and I believe to my core that Bogdan Guskov is nothing more than a slightly above average slugger. I think that Ryan Spann has held a spot in the top 15. That's something to respect. He's an explosive puncher. He's a good striker from distance. He's fought some of the best guys in the game. Might not be a consistent winner, right? He's on a 2-fight losing streak, but ultimately has some highlight reel knockouts. Really destroyed Dominic Reyes. Bogdan Guskov's so hittable to me. You're telling me Bogdan Guskov is going to go out there and dust him? Bogdan's going to KO him? Bogdan's going to take him to the ground? Bogdan is a guy that comes out really hard, and he's a savage early in fights. But he also is super vulnerable to counter strikes. He's got a reckless, violence-first style. Ryan Spann has a speed advantage. He has a length advantage. I think he has a punching power advantage, and he's just simply better. And he's fought higher-tier opposition for years. People are looking at Guskov as this next light heavyweight coming up, and the UFC is absolutely giving him the push treatment. I mean, debut against Ozdemir, then you fight Pauga, who's now released, one of the bottom-tier light heavyweights, and now right back against a ranked opposition. I don't think the skill set's there. I think maybe the look is there. He reminds me of like an Anthony Smith, Krzysztof Sosinski combination. Superman Spann's going to chin Guskov. He might submit him, actually. To be honest, he might club and sub him. I've heard, people deciding, which side to go down, and I chopped it up with Mike Finch Monday on Moneyline, and submission is there. Knockout is also there. Moneyline is the lock side, but of course, I do want to at least give a brief analysis of what we're looking at for some of these odds. Guskov is what? Plus what? What is he? Plus 165. Spann, as I said earlier, minus 190. This fight to go under 1.5 is minus 275. Let's look at this real quick. Spann to win by knockout plus 200. Sub is also plus 200. So then you want to throw down inside distance, you got minus 160. It's better than the money line of minus 190, but only 30 points better. I don't really feel it's the A-tier way to go. For only 30 points, I'm not crazy about it. I like Ryan Spann down the center line. Ryan Spann's going to win this fight. He's going to destroy Bogdan Guskov. I'm telling you guys, Guskov ain't the one. I've fraud checked him early on, and yeah, he beat Pauga. But bro, it's Pauga. Ryan Spann's a different caliber than Bogdan Guskov. And he's only 32. Like, you're acting like Guskov's the new guy on the come-up. I was saying that earlier, but I didn't get to this point, this separate point. Ryan Spann's 32. Guskov's 31. Ryan Spann's still relatively young for a light heavyweight. And he's just got a shitload of experience. I'm going Superman Spann for the win. The way Spann's losing fights normally, on the ground, getting taken down, choked out, at least as of recent. Guskov ain't that guy. Ryan Spann might dust him with a big punch, maybe club and sub. Ultimately, Spann down the money is going to be a lock, and it's going to hit. We're going Superman Spann to start off the show with the lock of the week call on him. I do want to jump to the most confident picks on the card. My most confident favorites on the card. We'll do favorite underdogs there afterwards. But let's talk these most confident picks with straight money lines. All right. Corinne Silva, minus 150. Ivana Petrovic, minus 465. Victor Henry, minus 400. Diniz, sitting at minus 250. Johanata Diniz. I do believe in these 4 picks, and having Silva in a women's fight against Lipski is going to be the first one to briefly discuss. I am not somebody that is, as a recent, doubted Ariane Lipski. I picked her over Casey O'Neill, and she won as a dog. But I believe Silva's grappling is a different pedigree. I also think Casey O'Neill was massively overrated, and yes, that was a decent win for Lipski. Corinne Silva is a different level of test here. Her athleticism is legit. Her grappling skill set looks really sound. Her kicks on the outside, I think, are going to be effective to time takedowns. And we've seen Lipski get worked on the mat before, and I think Silva can do just that. Silva might be the first person in the UFC to submit Ariane Lipski. Now, Silva money line, minus 150. Maybe I'm falling into the hype train. Or maybe the hype train's running right through Ariane Lipski. I believe that to be the truth. Now, as far as Silva to win by a sub, it's plus 225. To be the first girl to tap out Lipski, I don't really like plus 225. Under 2.5 is minus 150, so they're expecting finish. I am calling Silva to win it inside of the distance. I do think she gets it done. I think she's live for that submission over Lipski. Could be ground and pound, but less confident on the ground and pound call. We're going Carini Silva for the W. Next one, I'm going to, go in the women's order real quick. We'll do the ladies first. Petrovic over Na Liang. I don't really need to talk deep about this. Na Liang is not good. She's on a 3-fight losing streak, 0-3 in the UFC. She has a wrestling base, but doesn't seem to know much else. Petrovic is a more well-rounded fighter, has also shown a capable grappling game, and I think she's going to win the fight. Petrovic wins inside of the distance, minus 250. You're already fucked. Petrovic wins by sub, plus 155. Petrovic by KO TKO, plus 170. The way Na Liang's getting beat a lot is with ground and pound, and I could see Petrovic following suit and dropping hammers on her. Submission, plus 150. I could also be there for the 55. The inside distance is shit, man. You got to pick between the two. I'm hating that I'm have to pick between the two, so the money line is the better call, but bro, it's minus 465. I originally wrote down Petrovic sub or KO. Inside distance probably was my official call on this fight. I think that the KO makes sense because ground and pound at plus 170, but something about submission seems live at plus 155. So now you're just teetering between 2 points. Unfortunately, it's not the greatest betting lines on either front for the props, but I do believe that we're going to see this fight go under 2.5 rounds. That is minus 210. I think that is more on the playable side. So Petrovic to get it done. Let's keep talking, though. I'm not finished. I got more. The next one we're going to discuss in a little bit more depth. Let me bring everything up for myself, man. I like to have everything in front of me. We got Victor Henry at minus 400. My God, he's a huge favorite, man. If he doesn't beat Haniyaya, they should both retire together. Victor Henry's not losing. Stop. Don't even get that delusion in your mind. Henry minus 400. Henry via KO plus 175. Under 2.5 plus 115. I do think Victor Henry should win by knockout against Yaya, but it does seem almost too simple, right? Like, this seems like almost too predictable that he's going to knock him out. And seeing that it's at plus money, plus 175 is kind of weird. I guess officially decision is the most expected method of victory for Victor Henry at plus 125. But I think knockout would make sense. I really do. I don't think Yaya can strike with him for 3 rounds. I know Yaya is tough enough. He shoots wrestling. He's a bantamweight. He's 39. He has no striking, and he's purely jiu-jitsu based. He should get dusted by Victor Henry. So we're going knockout. Next call, Diniz for the W, minus 250. Are you kidding me? Austin Lane is going to be a sitting duck in this fight. If Austin Lane somehow wins, I'll probably have a fucking meltdown. That would be awful. If Johanata Diniz, former professional kickboxer, loses to Austin Lane, a former football player, I'm fucking done with this. I'm done. The sport's over for me. kind of exaggerating a bit, but still, I would be like, what? Lifelong martial arts? I know Lane has been doing a lot of MMA, but he's an athlete first, fighter second. Diniz is straight fighting. Now, some will say, oh, but the better athlete, Lane, maybe he's got a chance. He could be tricky. Maybe surprises with some grappling. His chin comes up very high when he strikes, and I'm telling you, I'm not expecting him to be blasting double legs. And I think because Austin Lane might have more MMA experience, it doesn't equal, oh, I'm definitely going to be able to consistently wrestle a guy who's a kickboxer. We've seen it before. Guys with striking games that look to land takedowns and turn fights into grappling matches, gas out, and get their ass kicked on the feet. I think there will be a lot of striking. I think Lane might be confident on the feet, but I'm telling you, don't be surprised with some cage pressure and takedown attempts. I think Diniz is dinging the chin. KO. First to second round knockout. It's going to happen. Diniz to win via knockout. Minus 200. All right. So nothing to jump up and down about. I seem excited about the minus 200. I'm not excited about the minus 200. I'm just saying. Minus 200 is there. The official call is Diniz by knockout. And if he's not chinning Austin Lane, to be fair, I think sayonara. We're sending him to Octagon, bro. He can go fight in somewhere. I don't know, I think it's Europe. Somewhere in the Eastern Hemisphere, all right? I think Diniz should dust him. Like, all jokes aside, I'm giving a little bit of a hard time to Lane, too. Like, he's levels above in the striking skill. Diniz has got legit pop, and Austin Lane's chin comes up, and he's been knocked out by Greg Hardy. So, enough said. We're going to jump to the next segment. Let's talk about my favorite underdogs on this card. I think that I got some snipers. I do. I firmly believe that I got some sniper underdogs on this UFC Vegas 91 card. I'm going to read them off all quick, and then we'll talk a little more in depth about each one. We got Gabriel Benitez, plus 165. Dontel Mays, plus 100. Austin Hubbard, plus 145. And the gem of all gems, David Onama, at plus 150. Okay? We'll first talk Benitez. Now I'm disrespecting. We're thinking Diniz. Now I'm going Benitez. Benitez first, plus 165. Listen, Mahashate is a difficult fight for him, and I recognize it, and I have a little bit of worry about Benitez getting stopped in the later rounds. I will tell you this. I think this fight ends inside distance. I think Benitez is live for the win, but I won't sit here and bullshit you guys. I'm making the pick Sunday, and as the week comes on, I got nights and nights to sleep a little bit more deeply on it, and more thoughts have gone in. I do worry about him fumbling at points, but I will tell you, Gabriel Benitez is better as far as his quickness, as far as his 1-2, and as far as his kicks against a Mahashate who's known for the stand-up, but ultimately, I've felt that Mahashate's overhyped. I don't really think he's that good. And I know he's only 24, and the age thing is a factor with Benitez being 35. But if maybe you're not actually that high caliber, Benitez would have a legit chance here. He was doing well against David Onama when they fought on the feet. Could he not rock Mahashate? Could he not win a hard 3 rounds against Mahashate? It's just about the chin. Benitez, we've seen him put down and finished a good amount. Nerve-wracking call. I do think Benitez is a risky one. Somehow he ends up the pick this week, and honestly, I'm hoping that maybe my delusions are correct, thinking that he's going to win here. Under 2.5, minus 125. Fight ends in distance, minus 250. I'm telling you guys, we're going under probably, and I think we got a good chance of a finish. I think this fight might end in the 3rd round, weirdly enough. That's my instinct as we're talking about it right now, but some of you might be saying, bro, you picked Gabe Benitez. I don't think I'm trusting your instinct on this fight at all. Hey, fair, more power to you, but when I'm right, hey, come throw your boy a W at the least. Let's keep running. Let's talk about the next one. Next one we have is Dawn, Till, Mays. Damn, I'm like sounding really excited about it. But again, I'm not that excited about it because it's heavyweights that are not that impressive. I think Mays should beat Machado. I've never been impressed with Machado. Saw the Shaflarsky fight. Saw some fights previous to that. I don't think he looked great fighting in Canada. I don't think Machado's that solid. If Dontel Mays loses, I think it's time to call it a wrap, man. I really think Dontel Mays can body Machado in the clinch. I think he can give him some difficulty striking. I'm telling you right now, Dontel Mays is a frustrating guy to bet on because it can go one or two ways. And, obviously anything can go one or two ways, but with Dontel Mays, there's a consistent problem of inconsistency. So if he doesn't show up, like he knocked out Arlovsky, he might end up getting outstruck by Machado, and I'll be pissed off. But on paper, I think that Dontel Mays gets a win. I'm going to call a decision. I'm actually going to say they go later, minus 170. Dontel Mays with some cage pressure, landing some big strikes. I believe he can win the fight. I'm going with Dontel. He is an underdog. Austin Hubbard versus Figlock. This pick is because I really think Figlock's overhyped as a prospect. He did get dominated and bodied by Perez Ziam in the grappling. And Ziam, I mean, he's a capable enough defensive grappler, but he's not a high pedigree grappler. He's a great striker. Austin Hubbard's tricky with the kickboxing, normally pretty defensively sound in the wrestling. This is going to come down to UFC veteran versus prospect. What is Figlock made out of? I don't know why. I have an inkling that he's not that prospect that he was kind of shaped to be. Ultimately, Austin Hubbard has had a lot of fumbles in the UFC. He just lost to Kurt Holloway. But I think Kurt Holloway's a trickier grappler than Figlock. And I do hold Austin Hubbard's wins on The Ultimate Fighter, specifically the Roosevelt Roberts fights, in fairly high regard. He fought his way back to the UFC, and it was no easy path. And now is he going to go drop the ball against Figlock in the first fight out since The Ultimate Fighter? I really think he can win. I'm going to go Hubbard to pull it off. Plus 145. You're propping it up. Good luck to you. My official call as far as the prediction on this fight was Austin Hubbard to win, and I think it was decision as the official call. So over minus 210 makes a lot of sense. Decision for Hubbard sits at plus 200. I'm calling Austin Hubbard for the W, but yeah, not one of my favorites. Not one of my favorites ever, but still a dog. Listen, just because I'm saying not one of my favorites, I'm not trying to tell you it ain't going to hit, okay? I'm just trying to give you my honest thought process when I recognize the 50-50 of certain matchups. I think Hubbard as a veteran can be savvy enough to beat Mikhail Figlock, so we're going with Hubbard. Now, David Onama is a savage. Plus 150 for him. I know, okay? I know Jonathan Pierce has good wrestling. But that pressure wrestling style, yes, it's tiring. Yes, it's consistent. Yes, he's good at it. Versus David Onama, who's got some good takedown defense, some legit punching power. I don't think Jonathan Pierce can absorb some David Onama bombs. Onama has a very special gift of legitimate, high-caliber KO power. And he's also developing as a prospect and showing improving wrestling defense. Now, the concern being we've seen Onama taken down numerous times in his UFC career, but arguably you can say we also have seen him tested in that area so much that you know the rate of improvement he's making is kind of better than some of the other fighters out there because we've seen that flaw. Like everybody knows, okay, Onama, you got to try to take him down. He's a powerful striker. Everybody has that in the back of their minds, but it's not as easy these days. And he also has good reversals and get-ups. And I think David Onama is going to send Jonathan Pierce into the shadow realm. This is a very exciting underdog pick. Knockout win, David Onama, the official call. KO for Onama, plus 240. I think he gets it. The money line's beautiful, plus 150. I'm going with Onama as a dog. I think Pierce is going to look to chain wrestle, and he's going to be hit with some silencer shots on the feet, and I think lights are getting shut off. I believe in Onama's striking a lot. And I think his wrestling get-ups are there, and I think his takedown defense is capable and consistently getting better. But a big factor is his get-ups. I think he'll get back up to his feet, and I don't think Pierce has a chance when they strike. I'm going with David Onama by knockout, plus 150. Favorite underdog section capped off, but we're not done. The show's not over. There's more to talk about. Listen, I got to jump to the next segment. It is the Degen props of the night. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash the likes as well. So I'm actually going to stick on David Onama's fight, but I am going to dig a little deeper, okay? Onama by KO in round number 1 is plus 550, round 2 plus 1,000. For some reason, I feel an inkling towards round 1 and 2, specifically round 2 at plus 1,000 value-wise, but I do think round 1 and 2. I think Onama's power is very dangerous, and in the first 2 rounds, I really believe Jonathan Pierce is at high risk of getting viciously knocked out. I'm going Onama with excitement, with confidence. Team Onama for the W. I really like Onama here. We're going with him. Now, as far as the next, I'll be honest, from here, it's just going to dwindle with excitement. We're going to go Matthias Nicolau by sub. Still a cool pick. I'm picking Nicolau. He's probably going to win. Sub form is plus 300. Can I tell you straight, though? The money line is like an honorable mention in confident picks at minus 175. It's not a bad call. Keep going from there. I'm going to keep running down. Lontop to win. I don't have the availability of the prop, but I do think under 2.5 minus 170. I'm also calling Lontop KO TKO being live. You should be able to fend off the takedowns of Padilla. Padilla coming in on short notice. He's probably getting chinned. So long top by KO. I think he's a dangerous striker for sure. And works well against the cage, rips hard shots. And I don't think Padilla can keep up with the stand-up game. Souza, disgusting wide favorite. I think these ladies are going over minus 255. And I think Souza to win by decision minus 120 is also very live. Those are the Degen props of the night. I started you off with absolute Degen savagery, and then I dwindled to like no savagery at all. But at the end of the day, I have to tell you what was on my mind as a little extension to everything we already talked about. Let's jump to the fan favorite, the famed, the legendary parlay section. Very excited about this section this week. I got some parlays, okay? I am going to parlay up. First thing, we're going to do one with Superman Spann in it. I'm going to put the lock in it, but then we're going to do ones without the lock in it because I think that's always a solid way to be. Superman Spann is minus 190. If Victor Henry somehow drops the ball, it's minus 420. He won't. I'm telling you, minus 420 ain't dropping the ball. Victor Henry is a lock of locks. Minus 112. I know it's not juicy, but this is hitting. Truth be told, this is hitting. If Bogdan Guskov chins my lock Ryan Spann, I might cry on stream, actually. He won't, though. He's getting dusted. Now, if you want to add something more to it, you want an underdog, you go David Onama on the lineup. Spann, Henry, Onama, plus 363. I'm telling you, this one, another one, I feel very good about. But, hey, maybe you don't want to play an underdog yet. You don't want Onama. That's fine. That's fine. We'll keep it a little safer. We'll play around, I guess, a little more slow and steady. Now, are you ready to put a female fight on your lineup? You want Petrovic? You get plus money for it. She's a confident pick. I do believe she probably wins. Maybe you want to add some more savagery to it, though. You want something a little closer. You want Diniz, plus 165. How about I give you the heavy-handed parlay? Let's remove Victor Henry for a second. I still think he's going to win, so he's easily something you can add in. But for this heavy-handed parlay, this was kind of what I was thinking. Superman Spann, knockout. Diniz, knockout. Onama, knockout. Now, if you play them all down the money line, you got plus 424. But maybe, just maybe, you can be a little more savage. Let's quickly clean the slate, and let me drop the knockout lines. Now, I will say, Spann by submission is also live, so recognize that maybe Spann should just be a money line during this one because the official lock is the money line. But for the savagery of the call, I got to run it up with knockout props only. Knockout, Superman Spann. Knockout, Johanata Diniz. Fucking boom. And knockout for David Onama. All knockouts. You're calling Knockout Central plus 2016. This is all knockout calls. I'm a savage for it. 2016 was a great year. I'm telling you, maybe there's some good luck on that 2016. Now, for the ones that are thinking maybe Spann by submission, maybe you don't want to throw Spann in there and I want to remove him for you. You still got plus 561 and Spann straight brings you to almost plus 1,000. These are very, very degen calls, though. But there's some savagery with the degeneracy, I think. Now, a little alternate play is something that I have written down that I feel is a solid idea to go on the safer side with alternate, okay? Nicolau, Carini Silva, plus 161. This is the alternate to the safe call. I think this one also hits. Now, if you mix the two, maybe you're an ultimate savage and you're mixing everything up because I honestly believe this is a hitter. Nicolau, Silva, Spann, Henry. Now, normally on the cards, you're like, bro, somebody's going to fumble that as a favorite. Corinne Silva is probably, to a lot of you, the biggest flight risk. Even though I'm confident she's going to win, I will remove it just to show you, you still got a good plus near 2-1 call with Nicolau, Spann, and Henry. Petrovic earlier in the night, it's just the odds suck. That's the difference. That's why, like I said, Nicolau's an honorable mention to the high confidence pick section. But you know what? I'm just going to throw in some fucking chaos. I'm just going to go balls to the wall. I'm just going ballistic. We're throwing everybody in the lineup, and I'm just not giving a fuck. I'm doing everything here. David Onama, plus 1123 with that one. Who do you want? We want Dontel Mays, plus 2,000. This is crazy. This is fucking, this is danger. This is straight dangerous. I don't even know what I'm doing. This is psychotic. If I throw Benitez in, I got problems, bro. I'm not telling you to even do this. Like, don't do this, actually. But if you do and you win, God bless you. I hope it happens. But shit. Just too much risk. There's too much risk in the lineup, I think. So many fighters like that. Some of the other ones were like real good calls, but that risk mode USA. Listen, Victor Henry should get it done, and Petrovic. Look at that, minus 200 for those two. Let's see. Do we have under 2.5 available? I would say the under 2.5 in the Manshate fight with the Victor Henry with the Spann is actually also a really good call. Fortunately, we don't got it right now. Over-unders here. You got some riskier ones. I think the Hubbard fight going over, but I don't have it officially down. But that could be something to parlay up. After the weigh-ins, I'll drop some more heat with these parlays, but I think I dropped some savagery today. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's best MMA bets. I think today was one of the best shows of all time. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Make sure you all smash the likes. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share that video. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching every week. This week's best MMA bets. Every time we got a UFC card, you know I'm bringing the heat. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.